The subject of inflation and even hyperinflation has been in the news for much of this year. But what exactly is inflation? And what about its opposite, deflation? I'm going to cover what each of these is and why too much of either is bad. I'm Bradford with the Penny Pinter's Guide to Personal Finance. First, make sure to give the video a like so we know to make more like it. So what exactly is inflation? Now, both inflation and deflation refer to the general trend of an economy. Now, what inflation is on one hand is it is when the general prices of the cost of goods are going up. Deflation, on the other hand, is when the general cost of goods are going down from year to year. So what does inflation or deflation mean for the individual? Let's take an example where you have $1,000 in cash today and you don't plan on doing anything with it other than keeping it under your mattress. So say we have an economy that is experiencing inflation at a 2% year-on-year average. That means if you have that $1,000 today, 1 year from now, you will have lost 2% of its value, or $20. So while you'll still have $1,000 in cash, you will only be able to purchase the equivalent of what you would have gotten today for $980, even though it'll cost you $1,000 a year from now. Now, the same example can be applied to deflation, but it's the opposite. So that way, if you have a 2% deflation year-on-year average, your $1,000 today will be able to purchase you $1,020 worth of goods, while it's still costing you only $1,000. Now, with the definitions of both inflation and deflation in mind, what causes each of them? Inflation in general, at small amounts, can actually be a good thing. So if you have inflation in the low single digits, what is going on is that you have increased demand for consumer goods in the marketplace. So this means you have more demand each and every year. So in return, the prices of those goods are going to go up slightly. Now, the reason that this can be good for the economy is because there is a slow, very small rate of inflation. Consumers know that if they don't spend their money or invest it today, it is going to get them less in the marketplace 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So they go and spend those money on consumer goods, or they invest it in various investments to get them a greater return on investment than what the rate of inflation is. So this can help spur growth in an economy because you have more demand, so more jobs are able to be created as more goods are sold. Now, where this becomes a problem and where inflation is caused in a lot of instances is where the government prints and creates a greater supply of whatever the currency is. So two of the biggest examples of how this inflation turns into hyperinflation, one occurred in between the two world wars with the Weimar Republic in Germany. Now, the example what happened here with hyperinflation is the government kept printing so many notes that the value of the currency was so inflated where individuals were burning the money to be able to stay warm because it was so worthless they couldn't actually afford fuel for their fires, and if they didn't burn the money, they would be at risk of freezing to death during the winter. Now, a modern day example of where hyperinflation got out of control is in Zimbabwe. Their money became so inflated with the government trying to print money to get itself out of debt that they actually ended up printing trillion-dollar notes. Don't believe me? Go on Amazon and type in Zimbabwe trillion-dollar note and you can actually buy one and frame it, and congrats, you're a trillionaire. So now let's look at deflation. What causes deflation? In general, deflation is a foreshadowing of a contraction in the economy. Now, while the prices of goods are going down and you can buy more with that $1 in the future than what you could buy for today, this is also a sign that people are buying less things. And because the demand is going down, the supply, on the other hand, hasn't changed. So the price of those goods are going to have to go down with it to be able to continue being sold in the economy. Well, it's nice to think that your dollars can be able to go further in the future. At the same time, you're likely to have fewer dollars to spend in total, and ultimately you'll end up losing. While deflation is not always bad, there are instances where technological innovations have lowered the cost of everything in an entire field while having no adverse effects on the economy. One of the great examples of this is where we actually look at the tech field, where the cost of storing information. Whereas in 1980, you would have been spending almost $500,000 to get 1 gigabyte of data stored somewhere. Nowadays, you can do that for just a couple pennies. Now that you know what both inflation and deflation is, make sure you inflate that like button so we know to make more videos like this. Thanks for watching with us today, and until next time, just remember to pinch a little. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, make sure to check out the video that's on the left-hand side of your screen.
Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like more great content, and to support our channel.